I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Crootin. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, guys, I have some breaking Chicken Express news.
All right. Nice.
Let's go.
This weekend, I got some chicken-y. I had their hush puppies.
Okay.
Are you y'all?
They're good.
I don't think I've ever seen it on the menu, but I was at not my normal Chicken Express, and it was on their menu, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go. Oh my gosh.
I don't feel like I've had that. I have had their catfish, which is excellent, which you don't think, but you should.
And I remember eating the hush puppy, and I remember thinking, I need to remember to tell Pickle and Powers this on the show.
Well, and I love hush puppies. I'm a big fan of hush puppies.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, you find equal amounts of bad hush puppies versus good.
You do.
Yes.
You can mess up a hush puppy.
I don't know how. Like, it seems like a foolproof thing, but you can. But Chicken Express doesn't even mess up.
They would never.
No, they would never.
They don't mess up, period.
They are batting 1,000. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, we're going to the Houston area to Klein Forest to talk about their senior linebacker, Trenton Burkhalter Jr., who is having a terrific season for the Bearcats. And as a result, he is being rewarded by a bunch of new offers, Powers, including offers last week from Texas State and San Diego State, which is adding to a growing list there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A really impressive senior tape for him. His move to linebacker, I think, is starting to power his recruitment a little bit. He played defensive end last year. As a matter of fact, last year playing defensive end, he set the school record with 7 sacks in a game, which caught him some national attention, which was pretty cool to reflect back on and look at as I was kind of like researching him out for this honor for this week's prospect on the rise. Burkhalter Jr. is a guy who, he rarely gets out of position. He has that downhill playmaking ability, and honestly kind of went from being largely off of the radar to being one of the state's top defensive players, especially in the Houston area where he's kind of taken, his district by storm. I think that he is, I guess you can never say this, it's a voting process, but in my mind, he's a lock for all district honors down there.
This is first of all, I need to issue an apology to Klein Forest. They're the Golden Eagles. Klein is the Bearcats. That's my bad.
Boo.
Just save your emails. I caught it. But this guy, the tape is like, I mean this in a nice way. It's like football violence. It's like a celebration of football violence. He arrives at the football angry. He plays really, really fun to watch. And yeah, you're right. They've had him coming off the edge a lot, but he's a guy who I think can do a little bit of everything out there is Trenton Burkhalter Jr. And probably the reason his versatility is giving him that edge in the recruiting rankings.
Well, the reason why I like his move to linebacker is it shows off that he can do many different things on the football field. He's not just a one-trick pony that's going to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. He does have that capability, but he's not as tall or lengthy as some of your more prototype edge rushers. Well, he countered that this season with, guess what? I can move in the open field and I can chase down ball carriers in space. Add that to my repertoire, and I can be a more complete prospect all in all.
He's a playmaker. Trenton Burkhalter Jr., the outstanding linebacker there at Klein Forest. Let's roll on. Go ahead.
I want to point out.
Okay.
On Burkhalter, he's a wrestler, which I think shows through on tape because he's a good tackler and he's high-end academically. So if you're watching this thinking about taking a chance on a guy, if you love that wrestling background in your defenders and you're also looking for somebody that has good academics, he checks both of those boxes as well.
He most certainly does. Let's roll on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week could be like it's technically a commit. It's not technically a flip Our commitment of the week is Pflugerville Weiss wide receiver Adrian Wilson. He's been a commitment to Arizona State for a while. Here's what happened, is that he decommitted from Arizona State after getting an offer from Colorado, and then during an official visit to Colorado, he committed. So it is not technically a flip, is where I am committed to Powers University and then I say I am changing my commitment to Tepper University. So there is a gap here. This is functionally a flip, though, right?
Yeah, I would call it a flip. I really struggled with trying to say how, because it wasn't like a flip on the same day. I think the writing was on the wall at the time that he decommitted from Arizona State, that he had already pinned his Colorado offer tweet to the top of his social media channels and was scheduled to take an official visit to Colorado, which it looked like a great atmosphere in Boulder for that game against Cincinnati, which was the late night game that we had nationally to watch this week. Wilson is a dynamic deep ball winner. If you're looking for a guy to run the goal line fade or try to throw the jump ball up to a wide receiver in this class, there's some very highly touted guys. Khalil Lockett may have something to say about this, but Adrian Wilson might be the guy that you pick to throw that ball to. He's got that type of skill set in his bag. And now maybe he's found the school that he wants to play for in college, because, as you know, Adrian Wilson's been featured as the commit of the week before, back when he committed to TCU. As a matter of fact, him and Ty Hawkins, who are both now no longer committed to TCU, were the first two commitments in this 2025 cycle for the Horned Frogs. Well, he decommitted from TCU and committed to Oregon. And then he decommitted from Oregon and committed to Arizona State. And now he finds himself on Colorado's commitment list. So it's been a fun ride for Adrian Wilson as he looks to find the right home for himself at the next level.
He is a playmaking dude, and they got a big game.
Huge game.
Big game against College Station, which will be must-see TV.
This is the second time that Colorado's dipped into Texas for a top wide receiver prospect, because they got Draylon Miller last year and Adrian Wilson this year. And while they're both very talented, they couldn't be more different.
Yes.
Draylon Miller is like that guy, I'm going to get this guy the ball. He's bricked up like a running back in a lot of regards, and Adrian Wilson is that tall, lengthy, deep ball threat.
More like a classic one. You know what I mean? Like a more classic, number one receiver.
Yeah, outside guy.
Yeah, outside guy. Whereas I would say that Draylon Miller's maybe a little bit more like position versatile, but at the same time, you just kind of get him the ball in different ways. Whereas Adrian Wilson's a lot more like CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? We're just true number one guy. We're going to target him 15 times a game because we want to get him the ball.
He's also made strides on his senior tape. He's a lot more explosive this year than even he was last year. And I think a lot of that times that comes with confidence and swagger, knowing that you're the guy, right? He's got all these offers, kind of powering him up on Friday nights. He's not really have to worry about his future or making a mistake. He can go out there and go oh, look, I'm going to exert my dominance over you. And he can take advantage of smaller defensive backs at the high school level.
This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's round it all out with our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week going to Lake Highlands, talking about their sophomore running back Christian Rhodes. Picked up 3 new offers from North Texas, Ole Miss, and Arizona. He's already got offers from Oklahoma State and Houston. 6'1", 200 pounds, the star for Lake Highlands, a guy who has been really fun to watch develop and is the go-to guy for this Lake Highlands offense.
I feel like the Lake Highlands coaching staff was getting one over on us this year. Yeah. Because this guy didn't really play in the non-district schedule. And then district came around, and he went for 213 yards in the first game.
Yeah. Light work.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, by the way, here I am. I'm a freak show running. And he's a bona fide stud. This is an overnight sensation, really. He kind of came out of nowhere and is now one of the top recruits in the state because he not only possesses the size that you look for, he's got a track background. It definitely shows through on tape, and he's able to exploit defenders, whether he's trying to get it to the outside or use his physicality. And to be quite honest with you, he's bigger and better than most of the defenders he goes up against. He can punish you in the middle of the field as well. But if you slip off a tackle on him, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah.
And his numbers back that up. Like he's putting up stats every week now.
He is the name to know there at Lake Highlands. Just a sophomore, Christian Rhodes, their outstanding running back, picking up offers left and right. One guy we never have to worry about picking up offers, specifically to go to eat at Chicken Express, is Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here at Dave Campbell.
Is that a lunch invitation after the show today? Let's do it.
Follow him on Twitter, G Power Scouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting.